Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new edition of Message of Hope. And today, right from the UK, we have the pleasure to have Wyn Morgan, who, well, he describes himself as a human being, but he's also a three-principle coach and mentor. So, welcome, Wyn.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
And I will ask you the infamous question, which is, does having this understanding, how does that help you in different events, circumstances, situations in your life?
Well, I love the fact I didn't have long to think of the answer to that question, because it really will be fresh right now. It helps me roll with life. So I know now that I have no control over the future, no control over the present. But it's helped me be able to roll with everything that life can throw at me so far. And I know there'll be harder times to come than I faced since I've bumped into this understanding, that I've been blessed to bump into this understanding called the three principles. And yet, the bigger picture for me would be my before and after story would be for a lot of my life, and for the first 40 plus years of it, I would be a frequently depressed person, frequently insecure person, frequently serious thinking person, frequently worried, bothered, unhappy person, and quite high functioning with it, because I had a pretty good career, and thankfully still do. Just to say, I'm not putting all of that into the past tense, but I wasn't appreciating my life, and I certainly didn't appreciate me. I had a very low opinion of myself, that I thought that opinion was fact. I thought that what I thought of me was true. And I've had very serious thinking about myself, literally since I was a toddler, since I was, 3 or 4 years old. I remember being very serious at times, outwardly, often very happy-go-lucky, but inwardly struggling with life itself and being me. And a few times it occurred to me that if someone asked me the question, if you had the choice to have been born or not, what would you choose? I would have said no. And no real reason in my life why that would have been what I would have chosen the answer to. So amazing upbringing, amazing family, amazing parents, amazing grandparents, great brother, all of that, blessed and miserable. Well, not always miserable, but frequently miserable. Mm. And at some point, I started to notice, it was about 10 years ago now, that there was a lot of really cool stuff in my life that I wasn't appreciating. And then eventually, when I saw more about how thought works and how a low level of consciousness makes thought look more real, more permanent, and more true, and more everything. When I saw that that's just how it looks, not how it is, and I'd made up a story of me, and I'd made up a story of life, and I'd, just got a lot of very sticky thinking about me and life. When that loosened up, because I saw how thought really works in a human, a lot more than therapy ever did, even though I've had some very loving therapists who helped me because of their love, not because of what they actually showed me. I've started to really appreciate life, where I remember saying it back in, I think in about 2013, for the first time it occurred to me that actually, having been born, I feel very lucky to have been born. And it would have been less than a year earlier, I would have still have been in that thinking of, I would choose not to have been born. Same person, same life, totally different relationship with myself and life itself. I find that astonishing. And even saying it now, it kind of feels very big, a very big deal to me. Because there's a part of me now that even on my toughest days, which I do have tough days, everyone does, right? It's life. There are times that I'll lie awake at night worrying. There are times that I'll be worrying in the daytime. I'll be, I can go crazy about what socks to wear, and no one's ever going to see what socks I'm going to wear that day. I can make anything up that looks serious, but there's a lightness now to my perspective of life, and there's a fluidity to it and a lack of seriousness to it that I did not think possible before. So I feel very blessed to have seen something that looks very true and incredibly meaningful to me.
That brings a lightness of being, maybe?
Yeah. Well, as you say that, the lightness of being is because I've given myself permission to be a human being. So when you asked, how should I introduce you, Wyn? And I said, I don't know, human being. Well, it's a good thing to notice, because it wasn't long ago that I would unknowingly to me be fighting against that, thinking I was not human and didn't belong in the tribe, that I had a different operating system, that I was in a different boat. And then I realized, well, everyone thinks that. So the fact that everyone thinks that means that that's what makes us the same too. And every time I kind of, have delved into the inner workings of someone's mind and what they think of themselves in their life, whether it's at work or whether it's in relationships or any other aspect of their life, it's all the same. We're all the same. And I'm flabbergasted by the beauty of that I can see for myself. And then I can notice their brilliance. I can notice their purity. I can notice their innocence. And then often when I consider myself, I don't see that. And then the lightness of being is the thinking, well, geez, yeah, of course, because I'm the one who thinks this about me. It's difficult for me to see my own eyeball. It's difficult for me to see the tip of my nose. I can see everyone else's innocence, their beauty, their magnificence. It's less easy for me to have perspective on me.
We always order harder on ourselves.
Yeah.
It's like forgiveness. It's easier to give it to other people than to give it to ourselves.
Yeah, I'm that way. No, I know some people who aren't, that they are far more, they think they're okay and everyone else is an idiot. I thought everyone else was okay and I was the idiot, right? It was, yeah, it's funny what we make up. It really is. Yeah.
So if you could talk to the 15-year-old self, because that's what is at the worst.
You know what? I've pondered that question. I don't know if I'd ever want to talk to my old self and give myself any advice. I don't know if I would. Maybe, hey, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that. But I don't think I needed to be told that. I still think I had a bit of that even in my darkest days, even in my darkest hours. Because if I didn't, I wouldn't be here.
True.
Wouldn't be here. So, one of the things I love about what you're doing and what you're up to is what this sharing is called. And it tickled me that I didn't do this on purpose, not consciously anyway, that the mug I've got my tea in.
Hey, hope.
Has the word hope on it.
Yeah.
So, and I think even in those darkest times, I had hope. And not hope that I will something solid, even though I'm pretty sure I did have hope for something solid and then would, get disappointed because it didn't work out the way I wished. But I still had this capacity that hope carried the day. I kept carrying on. Now, I don't know if that's what it was, but it makes sense to me that that's what it was. It makes sense to me that that's what kept me going.
Who carries the day?
Yeah. Hope carries the day when the sun doesn't come up, because it just looks like the sun doesn't come up. On those cloudy, dark, cloudy days, then, yeah, the hope of a different day. The hope that maybe it won't be cloudy all this day. The hope that even if it is cloudy this day, I can dance in the rain. I can look out at the lightning. I can enjoy the sound of thunder. I can cozy up in a really lovely coat and let my hair get wet. I can splash in a puddle. Now, all these kind of metaphors, I know I might be making light of a dark day, but I've known for myself that that is possible even in the middle of my own mental storms.
I'm smiling because we just had a major storm here, kind of hurricane category winds, and there's lots of destructions. And it swept a path of 1,000 kilometers across the country. And with still some places that still have no electricity because now they have to clear all the trees that felled and all those kind of things. And today is a brand new, it lasted a few minutes. And now we have a brand new sunshine and blue sky. And so even the weather, even though the dark skies are there, a few minutes later, everything is cleared. And yes, those people still have no electricity and they have to throw all their food, but everything is replaceable. And now there's a brand new day, brand new sunshine. So nothing is permanent.
It's very reassuring when we feel stuck to know that nothing is permanent. It really is. As you're sharing that and going back to what I said a few minutes earlier as well, there are some very horrible things that are happening in our world and have done in the last hours and days. And going back to the word hope, I have hope that in my brother's grandkids' lifetimes, so they're 5 and 3, Violet's 5, Jet's 3, I have a hope that in their lifetime, we will have seen enough as a species for us to have overcome all that stuff, all the things that we do to each other because of the pain that we're in the misguided hope that if I invade you, I'll be better. If I do this to you, my life will be better. That I will profit from someone else's misery because then my life will be better because it's profit, it's feelings, all this kind of stuff. I have a hope that one day, and I am idealistic and I want to stay idealistic with this, that we'll wake up as a species. And
I think we are on our way there. So I might be at the same camp as you, but look, from the 3 Ps, it started from one guy, and now it's across the world, and people are waking up. But it's not only him, no, there's Adyashanti and Sadhguru and Eckhart Tolle and Deepak Chopra and all those people of different words, but pointing in the same direction. Yeah. And all those people attracts also thousands of people. So slowly and surely, we're moving in that direction. Anyway.
And I think, going back to, well, the foundation of every religion now, and I often look at documentaries of civilizations from 15,000, 12,000 years ago, the very earliest civilizations, and there was that kind of spiritual nature or spiritual worship going on that point to the same thing as we talk about and the people that you talk about. And I was listening to one of Sadhguru's audiobooks yesterday on the train coming back from London. And I'm thinking, well, if other than the accent, this could be Sydney Banks. And with Eckhart Tolle too, with lots of the stuff. And I would say the same for Kabbalah, say the same for, well, so many of the original religious works point at the same thing. They say point at the inside, they point at wisdom, they point at our spiritual nature. And that we make up that we're different, and we fall for the golden idol of stuff. I mean, those stories have been around for millennia. And I'm with you. I do think that there's a groundswell of waking up, a groundswell of raising the consciousness of human beings. There's definitely an appetite for it. And there's enough of a burning platform, given the nature or the current status of the ecological well-being of the planet. And what we do to each other, I think, for us to go, wait a minute, it's not time to wait. It's not time to depend upon my brother's grandkids' generation or my nieces and nephews' generation. All of us now. I have hope for that.
And on that, thank you very much, Wyn, for your wisdom and for your time. And if people want to find you, where can they find you?
Well, the beautiful thing these days is people can find anyone anywhere. Now, some people that will freak out right now. Wyn Morgan is not, if you spell it correctly, if it's not there aren't many people with much of an online presence with the name Wyn Morgan. One is the head of economics at Nottingham University. That's not me. Then there's the other guy that looks a bit more like me, although all the photographs I've got everywhere is of a younger version of me that's clean shaven and slightly slimmer too, because when I have photographs taken of me, it's when I'm at my slimmest. Not unusual. I'm not the only one with that. So I'm easy to find, and I would love to hear from anyone who wants to get in touch or wanted to ask anything about what I've shared.
Once again, thank you.
Merci.